Okay. So, first of all, I just want to say thank you to God. And I want to make sure that my videos are not here to explain anything. It's a testimonial and also for this purpose. This low life are just so compromised. And at this point, the more compromised they are, the more foul they are, the more like gaslighting they are, the more manipulative they are, the more pathetic they get, the less care about how smooth things go. It's like they go all out in retardation. And I think what happened is this woman called Megan testimonial kind of destroyed them. And the way they get fierce is like it's countering reality. I think, oh, you hear this? This is my headphones that they're hooking up to, they're connecting to. Um, and so I'm glad they did this because you see the manipulation. So, like I said Megan destroyed the facade that they had. And now that's what you hear. That this is them playing my speaker, which I'm okay with. And I love when they do that while I'm on camera. This woman destroyed the facade that they wanted to have. They wanted to be these avenging protectors of women and children, and she showed exactly what nastiness they are. This is a woman who was raped when she was a teenager, molested when she was a toddler, abused, and things that were done to her in all the ways. But somebody that was supposed to be responsible for her father, right? And she calls out that the government, throughout this whole process of her as a child, put her in that situation. And today, as an adult woman, guess what? You see this weapon system that can destroy your body? She's a target individual. They were supposed to paint themselves as these protectors, as little girls. She was put in a position where, as a child, her father molested her. And apparently, she thinks that it happened before, and then they put her back in his care. Then as a teenager, she was raped. And she said throughout the whole process, the government was watching over her and they put her in a situation that was so disgusting. And today, as an adult woman, she's a test subject. Do you understand the level of just destruction, the facade that they were presenting to me? They were supposed to make me think that they are protecting women and children, our children. She had just had like a last video yesterday saying, oh, I'm feeling some buzz in my brain. They were targeting her brain, just literally degrading her brain. Concussions. And she's like, yeah, America. And you have this shit in front of me that was supposed to present themselves as the protector of children. I love her. They will always bring up, oh, by what you did as a kid. I'm like, you are here torturing babies. You work for top-tier child porn trafficker. And today, I'm manipulated in disgusting ways. When I look at the little girls, they try to make me think, oh, this is how you thought when you were a kid and make me experience something. I just look like a baby, like a toddler. It's funny. At one point, it looked like it was a little boy, but it was a little girl. It looked like it was a little boy, and then it was a little girl, and then it started stimulating me. Just like that. I was like, oh, little girls, it's true. Just showing what they can do. And I know it's what they do. They do the pedophile type of torture. But that's so obvious. I've been saying that all the time, and it's the obvious manipulation. Now, where they try to be like a little, try to confuse me a little bit is, the older kids, the teenage kids, from the babies to like the older kids, like late teen, right, or maybe young adults. That's where like they try to confuse me because at that point sometimes you don't know the age, right? Somebody don't know. Sometimes you don't know if she's an adult. That's why they test. They check IDs, right? There's obviously people who look like kids. They're kids. There's others you don't know until like you kind of have to look deeper, right? Now for me, that's where they try to create the most confusion, which at the same time is not something I'm too worried about too much. What disturbed me the most is the babies. The older kids, It's annoying, but it's just like, okay, whatever way they go. And so this video is about one time where I was in a train, and at this point I'm kind of confident to say that she's around 25, 24, right? And I think I made a video about this. It's this girl who looked like early mid-20s, maybe between 22 to 25, or maybe 26 max, between that, right? I think she's more like 23, 24 years old. This girl had dreadlocks. She was a black girl, looked like in the mid-20s, dreadlocks, dressed into like pretty cool way. She had like a swagger about her, like a swagger. She kind of, you knew she was kind of edgy. And to me, when I looked at her, she reminded me of like a show called Black Ink, where there was like black tattoo artists, and she looked like she could fit that kind of people. And then in my mind, I started looking at her as I started imagining her being something like that. It's like, oh, she's kind of cool. Like, is that kind of cool people that live in this kind of edgy life, or either she's like a DJ or like a artist of some sorts. That's why I was imagining myself she was. I looked at her. I was not interested in romantically, but I was like, yeah, that looked like a cool person in that sense. Like she's in that kind of world, right? Well, you know, when you look at somebody, you start imagining what that person is. I was in that. I was thinking like that. Like she's this and that. She's probably like a, you know, this cool. And I know she's a perp, but I was lost in like what like she could be. You know, like you start imagining, and I and now it's different, but I used to like imagine what people do, what they kind of like, you know. And so I was imagining, it was after August 19, 2019, by the way. I was already manipulated. But with her, I kind of felt comfortable that she's most like a, you know, a 20-some-year-old. Because at that point, I lived with 20-some-year-old, and I kind of had a better understanding what 20-some-year-old looked like. And so I'm looking at her. It's like, yeah, she's like, and she has dreadlocks. She's dressed, everything about her looks like early 20, mid-20s. 23, 24, 25. And so I remember seeing her, not interested romantically. And as she walked away, I was looking at her, and I did see her butt area. It didn't do anything. It was just like, I didn't care at this point. And I think they made me do that, but I didn't care, because once I think that you're an adult, it doesn't faze me anymore. Like, I know, like, I don't care. If you're an adult and I look at your butt, I don't care. And so I'm confident that she's a 23, 25-year-old or something like that. But they've been trying to stress me. Oh, you little pervert, you look at her. I was like, oh, trash. I was like, listen, I can look at you up and down and do nothing to me. And to her, she's not bad looking at all. It's just I didn't get that feeling of like being interested in her. She's not a bad looking person. I'm not saying that. Not at all. It's just, for me, she was not somebody who can make me think of her in a romantic way. I say these things, Target Vigil, because I know what this purpose are trying to create. They try to make you accept. They create what you're interested in. They make you. They paint the romantic experiences that they want you to have. So for me, it didn't happen that way. Now, at the same time, I'm thinking she's 23, 24. And I know when I look at 23, 24, I'm like,